SawStop CTS. Should you buy one? Yeah, maybe. Let's see. I'm Eric Meyer, and this is a review of the SawStop CTS in under 5 minutes. Getting the disclaimers out of the way first, I paid for this with my own money. SawStop is not sponsoring this. I don't have any affiliation with them. With that said, I've owned this for about a year, year and a half, something like that. I have used it enough to go through 2 blades. I'm currently on my 3rd. I've also had 1 cartridge fire. Just so we're all clear, we're talking about the CTS. It's a job site saw, and with that, it means it's lightweight. So that lightweight is both good and bad. It weighs about 70 pounds, which means that it's relatively easy to move. Pro, easy to move around. Lightweight. Con, easy to move around. Don't want your table saw moving on you when you don't want it to move. Ultimately though, I think for me, the lightweight is a plus just because of the size of my shop. It's 10 by 14. And I got a lot of stuff in here, and I don't necessarily want to take other stuff out of here. To get a table saw in here, I needed something small and relatively portable. To have the next size up table saw in here, I would probably have to get rid of the jointer and the planer, or I'd have to get rid of my bandsaw. Honestly, I'd rather get rid of the table saw before I get rid of any of those. That isn't a comment on this saw specifically. That's just table saws in general. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. I think the bandsaw is the better saw to get between a table saw and a bandsaw, but I also do a lot of stuff with hand tools. So if I did stuff with more sheet goods, the table saw all the way. Like I said, this is a 10-inch table saw. These stock blades are fine. I didn't find any reason to immediately replace them. You cannot put a dado stack on here. Personally, I do not find that to be limiting. As in all woodworking, there's multiple ways to do things. And if I need to run a dado, I'll make 2 passes and then chisel out the waste. I got a ripping blade and a combination blade when I made this purchase. I have used up my ripping blade, my combination blade. I think I got through about 90% of it, and then I had a cartridge fire. That firing was entirely my fault. I had my miter gauge set wrong. Miter gauge touched the saw blade and I got a fire. Sucked, but at least I know the safety features were working. So glass half full, right? Okay, so let's talk fence. The fence is really good in terms of adjustment. You can really get it dialed in to whatever specific width you need. Pro there. Con, it's aluminum. It's a lightweight fence, and this isn't specific to this saw. This is kind of a flaw with all of these job site saws. Because this is aluminum tubing, there is some amount of flex in this, so you just have to kind of watch that. It's a minor thing in the grand scheme, but something to be aware of. Again, that's just kind of a problem with all job site saws. The fence is hollow tubing. Plus and minus, take it for what it is. Attachment for a vacuum cleaner to help with dust collection. It's definitely noticeable if you do not use it. I would still recommend using some kind of shop filtration if you can, and a mask. Keep our lungs healthy. But anyway, yeah, it does a pretty good job. Let's talk miter gauges. As you can see here, it's not here because it was awful and I tossed it out. The problem with the miter gauge that came with this saw is that it was loose in the T-track and there was no way to adjust that. It made it very difficult to get square cuts on the ends of boards. So as a replacement for the stock miter gauge, I went out and bought this one from Incra. What I would do instead, if I was going to do it over again, is build a miter sled specific for this saw. At any rate, that's just a long way to say that the miter gauge that comes with the saw just isn't that great. So should you buy one? I've been happy with this purchase, I will say. So for my situation, it's worked out great. And for me, I needed something that was small and lightweight so I can move it around in this shop and actually be able to have a table saw in here without having to compromise somewhere else. If our situations are similar, I think this saw is a definite contender. If you need to pick this saw up and take it out of the shop into a secondary location, again, I think this is a major contender for saws you should consider getting. Any of the frustrations I've had with it are just because it's a small job site saw, not specific to it being the SawStop CTS. I would have those same issues if it came from any other company. It's just kind of the nature of working with a job site saw. So once you have it dialed in, it'll hold your settings. There's nothing major to report there. Again, overall, I was happy with it. And it is more expensive than other job site saws, but on the flip side, when you factor in the cost of what it would take to have a hand injury, it's a lot cheaper. Thanks for watching, and let's get back to some build videos.